Welcome, everyone, to the Better Love Movement podcast, where you will finally learn how to intentionally do dating and relationships right. My name is Stoudmire, and I'm a licensed professional therapist and your personal love mentor. I've worked with thousands of singles and couples, giving them the skills needed to attract and keep the amazing love they desire. It's my heart's work to help people to get the skills needed to not only become the very best versions of themselves, but to help them grow and evolve emotionally and relationally. You can absolutely have the romantic relationship of your dreams. Come and let me show you how. Hello, ladies, and for those gentlemen who are also listening to the podcast, welcome back. My name is Anita Stoudmire, and I am your resident host and your licensed professional therapist and your love mentor for this week's episode of the Better Love Movement podcast. Thank you so much for joining me once again as we continue on with this week's episode. We are in episode number 138, and it is entitled, You Are a High Value Woman If You Have These 10 Traits. So, today, we are talking all about the high value, high quality woman. And it is these 10 traits, and I'm also going to give you a bonus, an 11th trait, but it's these 10 traits that I really want you to hone in on as you level up, as you grow, as you become a healthy feminine energy woman. It is these 10 traits that make all the difference. They're going to separate you from every other woman out there. And trust me when I tell you, men feel the difference. They can tell the difference between you and all of the other women out there that may not be as high quality or high value. So ladies, I want you to pay attention to these 10 traits. If you are watching this on YouTube, please tell me in the comments the ones that you feel like you've mastered or the ones that you feel like you need to continue to work on. I would love your feedback on these 10 traits. All right, so in no particular order, but I am going to give you that bonus trait at the end. But these are in no particular order. All of these are equally important to your journey to becoming a high value feminine woman. All right. Number 1, you have healthy self-esteem and confidence. So what can I say about that? In a world where so many people struggle with feeling good about themselves or, really loving and trusting themselves, people struggle with feeling confident and self-assured. This is something that is definitely going to separate you from the pack. You must have healthy self-esteem. And remember, we can grow our self-esteem. We can grow our confidence. This is something that we can learn. We're not just born with, well, actually, I believe we're all born with the highest self-esteem we're ever going to have when we're babies. Because at that point, we don't have anything. We really don't have anything that anyone wants. We're small and bald, and we don't have teeth. We don't have money. We don't have status, and yet we act as if people, they live to serve us. Like that's what babies do. They cry and they get fed and they get changed and they get held. And, they believe at their core that they are worthy to be taken care of and loved. And so I tell a lot of my women, you need to return to that time when you were a baby. Now, you're not going to, cry and scream and yell to get what you want. But what I like to do with this one, and I've shared this with many of my female clients, I want you to get a picture of yourself between 0 and maybe like 5 years old. Okay, from birth to 5 years old. So, baby picture or a picture of you when you're a young girl. And I want you to tape that picture on your bathroom mirror. That picture is to remind you of how pure and amazing you are. That picture is to remind you that God did not create any junk. That picture is to remind you that you were once a happy, confident, you had high self-worth, you were assured. That picture is to remind you of who you are, who you really are. So before this world and all these disappointments and all this stuff that has happened that have squeezed the healthy self-esteem out of you, that squeezed the confidence out of you, look at that picture and remember who you are. I have my baby picture on my bathroom mirror. And it's the really cute one of me, just looking adorable, looking just like my daughter Kai when she was a baby. We actually have she has a baby picture and I have a baby picture, and it's side by side in the hallway, and we look like the same person. So I have that fun baby picture up on my bathroom mirror, and it just reminds me every single day that that's who I really am. Happy, healthy, high self-esteem, assured, confident. I'm all that. Like, God made the most beautiful creature. That's what every day I look at it and say that. I want you to try that so you can work on having a healthy self-esteem and work on being more confident. There are plenty of ways to work on these things, and, check out some YouTube videos and listen to some podcasts. But that is one of the 10 traits that high value women have. They have healthy self-esteem and they're confident. They believe in themselves. They have high self-worth. What's the second one? The second trait is they love and accept themselves. So this goes right along with number 1. Like, you genuinely love yourself. You believe that you matter. You believe that you matter. What you want and need matters. And you act like it. So accepting ourselves, a huge part of that is we have to learn to get to the place where we accept ourselves exactly as we are. That does not mean we are not looking to grow, because I'm going to get to that later in this list. We always are looking to grow and be better. We're trying to become the best versions of ourselves. That's what self-actualization is. So it's not about not growing and not learning and not changing and not, becoming a better version of ourselves. But we're also not going to feel like we're less worthy because we're not a size 6, or we don't have perfect hair, or we haven't finished our degree, or whatever the goals are that you set for yourself that you have not achieved. Like, that doesn't make us any less valuable. That doesn't make us any less worthy. And so we have to love ourselves and accept ourselves right now. Like, today, I love and accept myself. I know there are other things coming, but right now, I'm good. Like, I am good. And I want you to get to that place where you love and accept yourself. Okay? That's super important to becoming a high value woman. Number 3, she is not afraid to speak her mind. She has a healthy assertiveness about her. So there is no shrinking back. There is no dumbing down. That's not a thing. Like, she matters, like we said. And so what she thinks and feels matters to her and to others. And so she speaks up for herself. She is not a people pleaser or an approval seeker. Like, she lets people know what her boundaries are. And She lets people know that. She lets men know what feels good to her and what doesn't feel good to her. So high value women are not afraid to speak their minds. They are assertive, which is not aggressive, but it's not passive. It's a healthy, kind, standing up for yourself. Okay. Number 4, the high value woman is classy and dignified in word and in deed. So this trait is something I feel most passionate about. I feel like the world is really missing this, especially from women, especially from modern day women. I was listening to another femininity coach, and she was talking all about, femininity doesn't have any rules, and, you shouldn't put rules on yourself, that you should be able to dress how you want and talk how you want. And, femininity is a vibe and there should be no rules. Okay, well, I will agree that there aren't necessarily hard rules. But I will also say that cursing like a sailor is not feminine. Like, sorry. And dressing like a prostitute is not healthy femininity. Like dressing immodestly, cursing, those are not classy, dignified ways of being. And the high value woman is classy and dignified. Those things are beneath her. They are low character things. Profanity is a low vibration. People who need to speak using a lot of profanity, that is a very low vibration. And so the high value woman is classy and dignified. She is smart. She is educated. And guess what? She knows lots of other words to use to express herself other than those 5 or 6 words. She does not need to reach for those words to make her point or get her point across. She does not need to dress in such a way that's immodest, that is, what I consider you're giving free peeps. You're giving these free peeks to men who have not earned to see these parts of your body. That's why they're called private parts. No, high value women don't give men free peeks of what they have or what their body looks like. That is for the man who would be her husband or her committed exclusive partner. Like every man on the street can't see my cleavage. Every man on the street can't see my behind or my cheeks, or, every man on the street can't see everything I have. That is specifically for my husband. And so high value women are classy and they are dignified. And I did another podcast episode. I can't remember the number of it, but it was all about how to be a classy feminine woman. So yes, check that out if you want more tips on being classy and dignified. Number 5, the high value woman has a growth mindset. And I cannot say enough about this. Like, this is the thing that I am most passionate about. As a classic Sigma female, as an INFJ personality type, like, this is the thing I'm most excited about, is having a mindset that you're constantly growing, you're constantly learning, you're constantly seeking to become the best version of yourself. So high value women, they don't stay stuck. They're not stuck in these old ways or old ways of thinking. They're not static where, okay, we're doing this and this is all I know how to do. No, they grow. They learn. They're flexible. One of the things I talk to women about quite a bit is, learning how to adapt and being flexible. That's super important. And so a growth mindset will help you with that so that you don't get stuck. Okay? But that's something I am super passionate about. I've always told women you should also seek a partner who has a growth mindset, that he will not fall into these ideas of, once we do a thing one way, that's the only way we know how to do it, or just not wanting to grow, not wanting to learn, not wanting to read or listen to books on tape or listen to podcasts or watch YouTube videos, just a person who is stuck. You want to avoid that person and you don't want to be that person. Okay? Number 6, the high value woman is mature. She has maturity. She is a woman who is not petty or childish. She's not prone to temper tantrums when she doesn't get her way. She's a grown-up. She's a mature woman. If you're above the age of 25, your prefrontal cortex has formed and is mature, and you need to act like it. You should not be throwing temper tantrums. You should not be, so overly emotional and reactive. You've got to learn the skills necessary. And I've talked with you all about this quite a bit, about stoicism. You have to learn how to manage your emotions in a healthy way. But you're not full of drama. You're not keeping things going. You're not petty or childish. No, a high value woman is a mature woman. She has conversations, She has no problem responding, not reacting. Okay? Number 7, the high value woman is feminine. You knew that was coming. She is feminine. And there are so many podcast episodes on femininity. She's soft, she's sweet. And remember the 3 tenets of femininity based on Dr. Pat Allen. She's passive, she is patient, she's vulnerable. And these are traits you're going to use with your male partner. She's warm. She's connected to her heart, not just her head. She's kind. So the high value woman is feminine. She is collaborative over competitive. She does not seek to compete with her man. She's agreeable. She does not always need to be right or fight to be right. She knows what she knows, and she doesn't need to prove it to anyone. She has her ego in check. All of these things are very important to maintaining your healthy femininity. Number 8, the high value woman has high standards. High standards, but not unrealistic standards. So we've talked about this before also in another podcast episode, the importance of having healthy standards, having high standards, but they should not be so unrealistic that no man can meet them. Okay? Because men aren't perfect. Newsflash, men are not perfect. They're going to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. And a lot of the mistakes that men make, if I could be so honest, is because they don't really know about women. Most men don't know a whole lot about women. And so they're bumbling around, doing the best they can, trying to do things that make you happy, and they mess up. So you have high standards for a man, especially standards that you can meet. So when you're thinking about character, being a person of high character and integrity, if you're that person, then of course you should expect that in the man that you want to be with. If you're respectable, if you're kind, if you're loyal, if you're trustworthy, you should expect that same thing in the man that you're dating. But yes, the high value woman has high standards. She will not just take anything. She will not just be with anybody. Because if you're a high value woman, you know your worth. So high standards, healthy boundaries. She has no problem maintaining these healthy boundaries. She has no problem holding these boundaries. But they are not unrealistic boundaries or standards. Number 9, the high value woman takes excellent care of herself. So this is in all the areas of her life. And there are some women who are really struggling with some of these areas. So she eats right. She exercises. She gets good rest. She looks her best. She gets her hair done or her nails done. She takes great care in her appearance. She makes sure her skin looks beautiful. Like, she's going to do everything she can to take good care of herself, because that's how she tells people without words that she loves herself. When women take good care of themselves, when they watch their weight, when they eat healthy and they exercise and, they look good, they take care of their health, they take care of their mental health, right? So it's not just your physical health, your mental health, your emotional health. That's how you are letting people know that you love yourself, because you take care of yourself. You don't abuse yourself by not sleeping or not eating right or overeating or, not working out. You take good care of yourself. And number 10, the high value woman is accountable and responsible. She has no problem admitting when she's wrong. She has no problem apologizing, and she gives a genuine apology. She's self-aware and she reflects, right? She knows, okay, these are the areas I need to work on. These are the areas that I struggle in. She is accountable and she's responsible. She's going to do the hard thing. She's going to do the right thing. She's not going to always go along with the crowd and do what everybody else is doing. She's responsible and she's accountable. So that means if you're a good mother, if you have children, you're going to be responsible with your children. You're going to take excellent care of them because they are an extension of you. If you have a home, if you have a car, you're going to take good care of those things. And you're going to be self-aware and reflective. You're going to be willing to take a look at yourself and not just other people. This also means, in my opinion, that you are not a victim. You're not walking around talking about what everyone else is doing to you or the men and what they're doing. You're able to look at yourself and be accountable for maybe your part in things. This is something that I know for me, after my divorce, I had to really sit down and take stock of, okay, what was my part in this? What was the part I played in this? It could not have just been this one person. And even if that person does something horrible to you, as we know human beings can be horrible, we still play a part. And so being accountable and responsible means we are willing to see the part that we played, because that's how we're going to get better. That's how we're going to grow. That's how we're going to learn. That's how we're going to choose better next time. We have to see our part in it. Okay. All right. So the bonus, and the bonus one, it's a tough one. This is the one that's oftentimes the hardest one to inspire in my clients. This is the one that so many women struggle with. But this is how you know you are a high value feminine woman. Number 11, you walk away from anything or anyone that doesn't meet the wants and needs that you have for yourself. This is going to require bravery. It's going to require an abundance mindset. It requires a deep belief and knowing that something so much better is coming. But so many women, I cannot tell you how many women I coach and I counsel, they struggle with this. And oftentimes I've asked myself, what is it about me, that makes this easier for me? Because, it wasn't always this way, but I will say that definitely as I got older, I really, learned to love myself. I've always been a risk taker. So maybe that's a part of it. I'm wired to take risks. I'm wired to believe that if things are not good, that they could be better. And I really believe that. I've never once thought, okay, this is not good, but you know what? I think this is all there is. I've got to just deal with it. Like, that's never been who I am. And I want to encourage women to not be that way also. You have to believe that if your wants and needs are not being met, if you're no longer feeling good, if something is no longer serving you, you have to believe that there is something better, or at minimum, there is something different out there for you. You have to have a deep belief in your soul about this. And yet so many women don't. They stay in relationships that don't serve them. They stay with men that won't give them what they want. They stay at jobs. They stay in friendships. They stay in places that they live. And they stay in situations that are, sucking the life out of them. And I just don't understand that. They stay in these dead-end situations. And I don't know if it's fear. I'm sure that has a big part. Or if it's, just not loving themselves enough, if it's a lack of confidence, I'm not sure what it is, or just that fear of, there's not anything else, or I won't find anything as good as this or better, or, whatever's going on in their head. But high value women walk. And I have always said this: when you love yourself, when you know that what you're asking for is not too much, when you know your worth, when you know what you deserve because you're an amazing woman, you don't settle for anything less than that. You walk. You walk. It's as simple as that. And it does not mean it's not hard. It does not mean it's not complicated at times. It does not mean you're not going to be inconvenienced. I've experienced all of that. I have literally had my entire life flipped on its head for about 5 years. But I refuse to stay in anything that doesn't meet my wants and needs, that isn't healthy for me, that isn't a reflection of all that I am. I believe that I am worth it, and I don't stay in anything less than that. And I want to inspire you to do the same. I want to inspire you to work on this. Remember what I always say: I never lose. I either win or I learn. And I want you to feel the same way. Leaving relationships is hard. It's hard. And, I've been there. It on average takes me about a year, which most people don't believe that. Most of my male friends don't believe that, but it takes me on average about a year for me to fully process and move on from a relationship. Now, this is, once I've left it, I'm not doing that process and I'm still in the relationship. Like, I leave the relationship and then it takes me about a year. I don't really date. I just focus on myself. I focus on loving myself and being gentle with myself. And I focus on my life. And, I focus on my faith. I focus on things that make me feel good. But it takes me about a year. And a lot of men believe that, oh, women monkey branch, they go from man to man to man. Not me. Not me. I'm not built that way. I must take time out to reflect, to figure out what happened, what my part in it was. But I walk. And there is no safety net. There is no other man waiting for me. A lot of men believe that, oh, Anita, you're that way because you've got other men out there that want you. No, I don't entertain those men. Like I said, it takes me about a year for me to kind of get my mind right. And that I don't entertain other men or monkey branch because I don't believe it's fair to them. So forget what it's going to do to me. I just don't believe it's fair to a man to try to, move on with him, but my heart and my mind is with someone else. I just don't believe that's right. So, yeah, it takes me about a good year. But I do it because I believe that what is for me, is out there. And the longer I stay with something that isn't, I'm just, I'm just stretching out that process of finding what is for me. Like the longer you're in something that doesn't work, is the longer it's going to take you to find something that does work. You have to be willing to let go. You have to be willing to walk away from what does not serve you and believe that there is something different or something better. That's it. That's it. So I hope that these 10 traits and the bonus, which made it 11, I want you to really reflect on them. And if there are any of these that you feel like you still kind of struggle with, because you can work on these things, you can make it your priority to really work on the ones that you really struggle with. Okay. I want to tell you briefly about my new book that will be coming out shortly. It is called Do Well, A Feminine Woman's Guide to Relationship Success. So this one is my follow-up to my first book, Choose Well. And it is for my ladies who are in relationships and who are married. So I have had lots and lots of women come into my DMs, email me, call me, and they are already in relationships. They're like, what about us? What about our book? We need to know what skills and tools we need to have in our tool belt so we can keep our relationship, our marriage strong. And so, remember I told you that's the two-part system that I'm always teaching my couples in therapy. So the first part is we choose well. We choose the best fit person for us. And the second part is once we've chosen and we're exclusive and committed or engaged or married, we do well. We have to learn skills to maintain and manage a healthy relationship. So this book is going to do just that. If you are in a relationship, if you are dating or exclusive and committed or married, this is your book and it is coming your way very, very soon. So I'm excited to be releasing the pre-order. That's going to be happening very soon. If you follow me on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube, I am going to announce the pre-order date where you can pre-order your copy of this book. And I do not have a publication date yet, but in the few coming weeks, I will be getting closer and closer to that date. So thank you so much to everyone who has supported the platform. Thank you to all the ladies who purchased my first book. And I hope it has been helping you in choosing a really great man. But remember, ladies, you have to take this thing seriously. I've had some of my coaching clients tell me, I bought the book and I did the lists and I created my boundaries and my standards. And then, I kind of threw it all out the window when I went out here and started dating. And then I had to come back to it. And then, I was picking men that, had things on my don't want list. So we have got to take this thing a little more seriously. We've got to use our thinking mind. We can't just focus on our feelings all the time. Our feelings are telling us something, but it's our rational mind that's going to help us to create this blueprint so that we don't get swept away by our feelings. That's super, super important, ladies. All right. So I am excited to have that coming out shortly. And thank you so much for joining me this week on this episode. I so appreciate you. If you're watching this on YouTube, please be sure to click the thumbs up button. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. I have a free course, a series of videos coming out called The Feminine Way that's going to be teaching you a whole lot of wonderful feminine skills for ladies. So be on the lookout for that. And I thank you so much for joining me. And as always, stay open to love. thank you for listening to today's podcast episode. If you are enjoying this podcast, please leave me a 5-star rating and review. Your ratings and reviews help me to continue to bring you more great content. Head on over to YouTube and check out the Better Love Movement channel. There's more video content there, and you can subscribe to be notified when a new video is posted. If you have a question that you would like to have answered on the podcast or in a YouTube video, please send it to me at info@betterlovemovement.com. You can also connect with me directly on the Magnify app to have your dating and relationship questions answered. That's MAGNIFI, and it's available on iOS and Android. You get your first 5 minutes for free. So give me a call and let's chat.